Hello. Warm greetings from Group 6, and today we'll be sharing our thoughts and findings on professional ethics in psychology. We'll dive deeper into what it truly means to be an ethical psychologist, the challenges they face, and how clients perceive ethical practice. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Meet our awesome Group 6 members. Each of us played a part in bringing this topic to life, and we can't wait to share what we've learned with you. So, let's get started. Ethics in psychology is an important set of standards and principles for psychologists to conduct their work in a responsible, thoughtful, and honest manner. Following ethical standards is essential as it holds psychologists accountable for their work, and in doing so, protects the rights, dignity, and well-being of those they work with individually, collectively, and in the community at large. Ethics is a professional moral compass for psychologists, assisting them in making appropriate, ethical decisions in challenging and effective ways when dealing with complexity and sensitivity in their work. This project will look at the significance of ethics in psychology through two elements: an interview with a professional psychologist and a public survey to gauge people's knowledge and perspectives on the relevance of ethics in the profession of psychology. By examining both an expert's and the public's perspectives, the project intends to suggest how ethics creates trust, professionalism, and effectiveness in psychological practice. Learning Outcome 1. To grasp the foundational guidelines and ethical codes that guide psychologists in fulfilling their professional responsibilities. Learning Outcome 2. To recognize the importance of ethical behavior in maintaining trust and integrity between psychologists and their clients. Learning Outcome 3. To understand how ethical practice helps protect individuals from harm, while promoting fairness and justice in both psychological services and research. Learning Outcome 4. To increase awareness of how the public perceives and values ethical obligations within the field of psychology. Definition of ethics in psychology. Ethics in psychology refers to a collection of moral principles and professional standards that guide psychologists in every aspect of their work. These ethical codes ensure that psychologists act with honesty, integrity, and respect toward their clients and the community. They provide clear direction on crucial areas such as confidentiality, obtaining informed consent, maintaining professional boundaries, and preventing harm, a concept known as non-maleficence. In short, essence of ethics in psychology. Ethics are the foundation of psychology. They guide how psychologists work with their clients and make professional decisions. First, ethics help build trust between the client and the psychologist. When clients feel respected, understood, and safe, they're more comfortable sharing personal thoughts and emotions. This trust leads to better communication and more effective therapy. Second, ethics help prevent harm and misconduct. They ensure that psychologists act responsibly and avoid any behavior that could exploit or hurt clients. Following ethical rules helps create a safe, supportive environment for everyone involved. Third, ethics protect clients' rights and well-being. This means maintaining confidentiality, getting informed consent, and respecting each client's privacy and autonomy. It ensures that clients are treated with fairness, dignity, and care. Finally, ethics promote accountability and responsibility. Psychologists are expected to follow professional standards and take responsibility for their actions. This builds trust in the profession and helps maintain a high level of integrity and respect.
Hi ma'am, very good morning. My name is Darshini and I'm here presenting on behalf of my professional ethics team. We are very happy to have you here today. How are you ma'am? I hope you're doing well. Before we begin, could you please introduce yourself to us? We do love to hear a little bit about your background and what inspired you to choose psychology and what kind of experience you gained from this course so far.
Hi Darshini, my name is Jolene and I have been in the field of psychology for about 15 years. I did my bachelor degree in Australia and I did my master's in UK. I specialized in child and adolescents mental health. Being in the field of psychology for about 15 years, I've been working with kids that has learning difficulties, I think it has let me gain a lot of experience, not just from the book, but also hands-on experience working with kids that needs a lot of support.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing that with us. That's really inspiring. Now, to begin our discussion, could you please explain in your own words that ethics in psychology actually means and why it is so important in this field?
Now, ethics in psychology means the principles and the professional standards that guide us as psychologists to work when we are doing our research, when we are teaching, or when we're doing our clinical practice. So, how you should behave, how you should, the attitude you have towards the patients that you have. So in my case, because I work with kids, it is much more important because the kids that I work with are maybe kids that are nonverbal. So it is very important that we are very sensitive to them, and we know how to have boundaries, because what we do as psychologists, we influence their well-being, their behavior. We help to mold their behavior. So our ethics are very important in that sense.
All right, ma'am. Moving to our next question. Is ethical awareness different when dealing with children compared to adults? Maybe you can share how psychologists adjust their approach when working with younger clients.
I think that ethics with kids are quite different, especially if, like, I am dealing with kids with learning difficulties. So a lot of times they are non-verbal. So it's you can't get information from them verbally. So you have to be more adjusted towards their ability. Yeah. So how you deal with them, how you talk to them, will be much more different as compared to when you're speaking with adults. And also, like say ethics, that's where you're doing with kids, then because they're underage, so you have consent from the parents. There are certain things that you discuss with parents because they're underage, but there are also certain things that you might not want to disclose to parents, especially if it's a sensitive topic. But then again, when it comes to if a child has been abused or you found that the child is being abused, then you need to watch out whether the child is being abused by parents or is being abused in school, and you need to be more careful with how you handle these things.
Our next question is about professional conduct. How do ethics guide the daily decision and action of psychologists, whether they are working in research, counseling, or clinical practice?
Now, as in clinical settings, I think the ethics helps us to draw that boundary we have with the patient. Now, again, so I am working closely with kids. So with kids is like I said just now, it's of course you have to avoid dual relationship. Means that your relationship with the child, you can form a relationship with the child, but it cannot be too close of a relationship because you are a therapist or a psychologist and the child is a patient. If you're dealing with younger kids, like say 1 year old, 2 years old, then they might require some hug and stuff like that. So it helps you to have that boundary. Okay, should I hug or should I not hug? When should I hug? Is it during the session or it's before or after the session? I think those are some of the things that help the therapists, a psychologist, form a boundary.
Now, ma'am, we know the world is changing very fast with social media, online therapy, and new technologies. So, what are some of the modern ethical challenges that psychologists face today in this digital age?
Well, I deal with kids, so I don't really use a lot of social media technology when I approach, with clients. With the kids when I do the therapy sessions. But I believe is that if it is needed, then say for example, you have a Zoom session, whether conversation it's protected or not, the confidentiality. Like say if the patient is having the conversation in the house, whether the parents are eavesdropping or not, and I think confidentiality might be in harm.
And finally, ma'am, our last question. What advice will you give to psychology students like us who want to practice ethically and responsibly, especially when working with children in the future?
Lastly, my advice to students is that when you start working with patients, you will find that it's not like in a book. So get yourself prepared, go in with an open mind. So the self-awareness, I think that's one thing that's very important, self-awareness. So I think when you start working with patients in the beginning, you'll be there to do observation. So note down all your observation. Then at the end of the day, ask yourself question, if I were the therapist, what would I have done? Ask yourself question, okay, I would have done it this way. Then question, is this ethical? So I think a lot of self-reflection as you observe and as you put yourself into cases, hands-on cases, self-reflection is very important.
Ma'am, time really flies so fast. We already reached the end of our interview. I just want to say that I feel truly blessed to be here and to have this opportunity to meet you in person. On behalf of my professional ethics team, I would like to sincerely thank you, ma'am, for sharing your valuable time and experience with us. We have learned so much from today's discussion about ethics in psychology and how important it is to apply this principle in real life. Thank you once again, ma'am, for your kindness and your guidance. Have a wonderful day, ma'am.
Now let's take a look on our findings of their demographics. Ages between 18 to 55 and gender on vastly female compared to male. Next on their diverse occupations from least student to bigger percentage of working professionals. And 60% have reached out to psychologists, which gives us deeper understanding of their experience confidently. Moving on to our first question, what does professional ethics mean to you? Based on our findings, majority agreed that professional ethics concludes following rules and regulations of a profession, acting with honesty, integrity, and respect, and lastly, maintaining confidentiality and professional boundaries. Second question, in your opinion, what qualities make a psychologist ethical? An ethical psychologist values client confidentiality, stays non-judgmental, and respects cultural differences. They remain competent and professional, practice transparency and honesty, and show empathy with genuine understanding toward every client. Third question, what do you think are the biggest challenges faced by psychologists in maintaining professional ethics? As per our bar chart, majority agreed on psychologists often face challenges like emotional burnout, managing complex confidentiality cases, and handling difficult clients. External pressures and maintaining clear personal professional boundaries can also test their ethical balance. Moving on to our fourth question. As a client, what concerns would you have when meeting a psychologist? As the client's view, they commonly worry about privacy, high session costs, as it's one of the many first challenges clients face, and being judged or misunderstood. Building trust, comfort, and ensuring the psychologist's professionalism are key to easing these concerns. We closed our findings of our survey in this final question, what would make you feel safe and respected as a client? Clients feel safe when they're given a comfortable, confidential space to open up about their struggles. Clear boundaries, professionalism, empathy, and open communication help build trust and prevent misunderstandings between sessions. This would be a perfect session retention for both the clients and the psychologist.